All right, welcome back. This is K24 this morning, and of course another session of health and wellness is here with us today. My name is Shiko Kaitani. Keep talking to us on our social media platforms. We would be most appreciative if you engage us as well on our ongoing discussions right here on the show. Now, so many of us are faced with new working arrangements since the coronavirus pandemic began. You may or may not find working from home ideal, but there's a very high possibility that working from home or the comfort of your home has gotten you off track, especially when it comes to your body goals. That's what we're talking about today, how you can watch that scale and achieve your ideal weight and maintain a healthy lifestyle right from your home. I'm going to start off by welcoming, one of our favorites, Betty Okere is here, nutritionist. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Good to see you. Also, Fiona Malemo, who is a lab technician from Lilly Medical Lab, is here with us today. Karibu.
Thank you.
All right, so the ladies have something for us today. Not only are you, first of all, looking alike, I could have sworn your sisters, but you guys have such a vital role in terms of helping people maintain, a healthy lifestyle. And Betty, you're always championing this when you come on the show. And you say there's no easy way to achieve this, okay? It's hard work and you've got to be intentional about it. But let's start off with, what we're seeing today. The effects of coronavirus. You'll tell someone, hey, by the way, you're looking good, umepunguza weight, but someone atakwambia ni stress. It was not intentional. So stress factors causing weight loss, in line with this pandemic, that's not a good sign.
You see, the thing is, most of us have actually looked at stress with excess eating.
Yeah.
It's actually true. That would happen. That if you're stressed, chances are your body is going to promote the production of cortisol, which is a stress hormone.
Right.
And for that reason, you're going to interfere with your metabolism, and you're probably going to eat much more. All right. So you will see the extreme side of unhealthy eating behaviors. Then we have overweight and obesity. But we probably need to pause and ask ourselves, does that stress actually cause a dysfunction on the eating habits of somebody?
Right.
Like now you're so stressed that your appetite gets suppressed, all right? And then your intake of food now is not regular,
right?
All right? Or you're too stressed that if you eat, you actually feel like you want to throw up. That may cause you insufficient intake of calories, or what we call energy, and that can actually cause weight loss. So yes, we are at home, we are stressed, and we might be engaging in binge eating, but the opposite could also be true.
Right.
So then you're too stressed and you decide, my appetite is gone, I don't want to eat this particular food. And usually what will happen is people who have suppressed appetites, they may not want to touch high carb foods, they might not want to touch high fat foods. So where their energy would probably come from, that is what they would stop taking, and that would cause them weight loss.
What are the long-term effects of that? Should you continue to just eat poorly? What are you seeing even as you're doing your consultancy or in your clinics? So
whereas our biggest concern has been weight gain and, excess weight, obesity, let's tackle that. Even weight, being underweight is a problem.
Right.
Because if you have a BMI of below 18.5, which is the lower limit of the cutoff point, then we're simply saying your risk for cardiovascular disease or the heart diseases and strokes is as much as that person who's got overweight and obesity.
Wow.
So it is not that small, lean, thin is always healthy.
Yes.
You might be lean, but you're actually at a higher risk of a heart disease. The other thing is when you're not taking insufficient nutrients, remember you have lowered the amount of food that you're eating. That goes with the nutrients as well.
Okay.
And we have what we call micronutrient deficiency or hidden hunger. So you might be eating, maybe once in a while you get a cup of milk and that's all you eat for the day. But will that be able to supply all the nutrients that you need, including iron, zinc, selenium,
you're
and all the
definitely,
vitamins? So you're losing
deficit,
that. Yes.
Okay. She just mentioned something that a lot of us here, especially when we go to the gym, asking our trainers, how can we lose weight? You're told about BMI. So Fiona, please take that up for us. What is BMI rather, and how does it provide a guide for one to get to their ideal weight?
So basically BMI is your calculation between your weight and your height. normal BMI is between 26 to 27.
Actually, 18.5 to 24.9. That's normal. What is 25 to 26.7 is on the upper side.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And you will not probably get a lot of people going to the lab to do BMI. They'll say, yes, my BMI has been done. You know, the way you walk in town and they have measure your height and weight things, all right?
Yes, I see that a lot, yeah.
So you've probably gotten that and you want to go to the lab and say, I've been told my weight is high. That means I have a lot of fat. Can you test my fat?
Right.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
carry on, yeah.
In the lab, when somebody comes, we check the cholesterol level.
Okay.
We call it lipid profile. It consists of different tests. We have the HDL,
Yeah.
the total cholesterol, and the LDL, low density cholesterol. So the total cholesterol, we measure the general cholesterol in the body, HDL together with the LDL and a fifth of the triglycerides. So when somebody has 200 milligrams per deciliter and below, that's ideal. We consider that ideal.
Yeah.
Then for the HDL, that's called the good cholesterol. So the higher your level are, the better for you.
Okay.
When your level are 40 milligrams per deciliter and above, that's the better. You're not at risk of getting heart disease. But if it's low, you're at risk.
Yeah.
Then the LDL, that is bad cholesterol because it deposits excess cholesterol in the blood vessels.
Yeah.
So LDL, when you have lower, it's ideal, below 100 milligrams per deciliter. But if you have high,
Yeah.
you're at risk of having CAD, that the atherosclerosis.
Okay. Speaking about, doing lab tests, and especially even in that weight loss journey or trying to understand what I need to do going forward, at what point would I be requiring testing for weight loss? Is it even necessary anyway? Yeah.
You can't go to the lab and say, I want to get tested for weight loss. So we check the sugar levels.
Right.
When sugar levels are high,
Yeah.
you are at risk of being obese. You increase in weight.
Yeah.
The cholesterol levels and other tests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe what I need to mention on the sugar issue, sometimes the sugar levels could be high, but maybe you're a type 1 diabetic, so not necessarily you have excess weight. And then the other thing also as a testing parameter.
Yeah.
So you will find that if you're being seen by a professional, once I have tested a few things in the clinic, like I know what your BMI is, so I took your height and weight, I know what your BMI is. And some of the people or the clients will complain and say, this BMI thing is a westernized kind of way of determining if we are obese. We are Africans and we are shaped in a certain way, we have heavier bones. Not bad. So what do? We will do your waist circumference.
Right.
Because there is abdominal weight, right? And if I link it to the stress hormone that we talked about, that also predisposes somebody to have more of the fat deposited on the abdominal area.
Right.
And that actually will lead to what? A higher risk of heart diseases, strokes, and heart attacks.
Okay.
So if somebody has already been tested for that, for the we've checked the BMI, we've checked your waist circumference, we will check that against your hip circumference.
Right.
So that we do what we call the waist-hip ratio.
Right.
To ask ourselves between the hip and the waist, which one is bigger, and we know which one should be bigger. Yes. Ideally, if you're healthy. So if it's a woman, a 0.86 measure of that waist to hip ratio should be better, 0.86 or lower. Okay. And if it's the man, 0.88 or lower. Okay. So the moment I see somebody with a waist hip ratio of 1 and above, then I start asking myself the questions. How much fat are we depositing there? Then that will help me as a professional to check and ask them for further tests, because I want to know why they have weight issues anyway. I want to know, is there something else that is hindering this weight from being lost or being reduced the way it should? Yes. So that's when now I send them to the lab and ask them for that.
She does the assessment, comes back with the results, then now you're able to give a conclusive result. But before we even get back to that, because I wanted to talk a little bit about understanding your ratio, we do have the question of the day for you, and we want to ask you to interact with us through, of course, WhatsApp and our social media platforms. And if my director can actually put that up on the screen for you, we are asking you, are you struggling managing your weight? If so, what lifestyle changes do you plan to adopt? Are you struggling managing your weight? And if so, what lifestyle changes do you plan to adopt? Let's be honest, sometimes, you know, such situations can throw us off, but what's your game plan going forward? And of course, if you have any question for the experts today, let us know. We can throw some of these to either Fiona or to Betty, should you have any questions. Okay, so getting back to our tape measure rules, you've talked about now trying to understand what your ratio should be and when it's dangerous. Okay, so put that into context for me, by the way. I'm at home, I'm wondering, okay, fine. Is there a particular age bracket that ideally should be around a particular weight? You know, say between this age to this age. I don't know, Betty. Break it down for me. Yeah.
So if you're measuring your waist circumference correctly,
yes,
it should be the first fold when you bend on any side. All right? When you bend on any side, the first fold that you get, and that's usually parallel to your navel.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Or the belly button. So that's where you take your waist circumference from, and it is parallel to the ground. Right? If you're using more professional waist circumference meter, then it would be marked. So you have the white part, underweight. You have the green part, normal weight. You have the orange part, danger is coming.
Yeah.
And then you have the red part.
Yes.
Now you have actually landed into problems. Right? Then, even if you don't have that, you can still do your, you know, that tape measure we use for fundis at home.
Yes.
You can still use that.
Yeah.
For me, I actually use centimeters, so I'll voice them in centimeters. And for women, we are talking about a waist circumference of 80 centimeters and below.
Right.
All right. And then for men, 94 centimeters and below.
Wow.
So when I know that measure, and then I take the hip circumference measure, and that would be at the highest point, the fullest part of the hip. All right. So we are all shaped differently. Some will have a higher hip than the rest. Some will have and some will just have a median hip.
Yeah.
So I take that from that highest point.
Yeah.
Then I get what is my waist circumference. I divide that by what is the hip circumference that I get. And that's what I said earlier. For men, that ratio should be 0.86 and below.
Right.
And for women, it should be women 0.86 and below, and men 0.88 and below. Above that, then you're either in overweight, or if you are 1 and above, then we're talking about obesity.
Wow. Fiona, maybe you can share a little bit about your experience with us in terms of what comes out from your lab and the trends that you're noticing from the people that are getting tested.
Okay, from the lab, what we get, many people come for the cholesterol level, the weight and stuff, but we don't find, I notice, age, also age. Some people who are age group have gone high, their cholesterol levels are high, their sugar levels are high, you know, the diabetic type 2, they are obese and the age is high. So that's what I notice, mostly age. Yeah.
And there's also a trend that is picking up. I know sometimes we don't take children for this test. Well, they're children, and we don't expect some of these values to be pretty high in them. But it is now not uncommon to find children who are obese and overweight. It's not uncommon. And now what is the pandemic doing to us? We are not allowing our children to go out to play.
Absolutely.
For reasons which are very good. Like you're scared. The disease is out there. How is my child going to play with a mask on?
Yes.
The child that they're going to interact with, where has the parent been going? All right? Did they pick the disease and they don't know? We really do not know what is happening. So most of us are actually keeping the children in the house. Or then we're not allowing them to go out to play because we don't know who will kidnap them.
Yes.
All right? Very valid fears. But with that, we are also providing so much junk food at home. And what play are we encouraging in the house? They're playing with their fingers.
Right.
They are basically on the
computer.
On the computers.
Yeah, they are e-learning.
Yes,
whatnot.
they are e-learning.
Yeah.
And whenever they are on the computer and they're eating, remember they're not coordinating these two activities.
Okay.
Because the computer or the screen is pretty fast.
Yes.
Things are happening very fast. So even the brain is fashioned in that way.
Yeah.
So they're just eating and they're probably not getting full.
Yeah.
And that will tamper with their appetite. So eventually, we are probably looking at a disaster in the future.
Yeah.
where we come out of this pandemic and then we have extremely obese children.
Right. Are you actually predicting that come next year, you're going to be having more and more people coming to your clinic who are much younger?
Yes.
That's scary. And so I don't know, maybe you will be able to recommend what parents can do at home. Does that mean now I'm actually regulating what I'm putting on their plate, which is a big shift from how things were pre-COVID, you know, because at least they could burn that energy. But speaking about some of the feedback that we're receiving, you know, from the questions that we've been throwing out today, or even, you know, some of the concerns you may have, let's see what we have on WhatsApp. Someone says, hi, I'm Eliza, watching from Zimmerman. Show Ecolate. Shiro, love you very, very much. Yes, I am struggling to lose my weight. Please, what do I do? What do I need to do apart from dieting? Okay. Hi, I'm Tabby. I gave birth early this year and I've tried to reduce my tummy by all means with no positive results. Kindly help. I feel your struggle. Tabby, we are together on that. Okay, so we've got a question on postpartum weight loss. Okay, do we have another text message? Okay, hello guys. I'm Joel Gitonga watching you from Juja Farm. If I'm 5.6 feet and 46 kilos, is that normal? Okay. All right, so let's mark those, and then Betty, I guess you can start off with how, you know, the typical question, how do I lose weight other than dieting?
Number one, I do not advocate for dieting.
Yeah.
That's me. Mm-hmm. We have to develop what we call healthy eating habits.
Yeah.
I go for sustainability. Mm-hmm. Why? Because when I look at what most people do when they're dieting, there's a lot of issues with, you know, I want to fast for this number of times,
yeah,
so that I can get my weight down. Of course, if you don't have food, you lose your weight.
Yes.
All right?
Absolutely.
But what does that do to your hunger hormone? Mm-hmm. That hormone in your body which stimulates your body to feel hungry. Mm-hmm. It actually makes it be wayward. Mm-hmm. And it just decides, I am going to be hungry at whatever time.
Yeah.
The day you will get food after a period of fasting, you want to divide.
Okay, hold that thought. I hear Kagwema is on the line from Limuru. Kagwema, good morning.
Shiko, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
We are fine. Limuru is very cold, but we are doing well.
Okay, asante sana for calling in. What is your take, Kagwema, today?
I just want to ask a question and congratulate those two wonderful ladies. They are doing a good job.
Okay, asante.
I want to ask a question. I am a parent of a special child who has got autism.
Yeah.
And you know I cannot stop this child. As one madam has said, they cannot move out because of the COVID issues.
Right.
And this boy is eating, he's not doing a lot of practice. You cannot be able to handle him. You don't know what to do. So sometimes I have a fear that he might be obese. He's not exercising because I cannot release him.
Yeah.
There's nobody to live with him. So sometimes I get scared. What can happen to this such a small a boy? He's 20 years and very strong. I really don't know what to do.
Right.
Secondly, I would like to know about the BMI, more about the BMI, especially the age is concerned.
Yeah.
I went somewhere, I was told that they measure weight, height, and the age. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that.
Right.
And there is obesity, and there is what does it age with age and the height of somebody? Does it matter? Can the two ladies clarify that for me? Thank you so much, Shiko.
Thank you too. Okay, very valid questions right there coming from Kagwema, and we already do have a lot. Do you want to finish that point first of all, that you were talking about dieting? It's a no-no. You don't recommend
for
dieting.
me, dieting is a no-no.
Yeah.
We have to develop a very valid and sustainable means of ensuring that we have a healthy weight. Remember, we're not talking about
success stories for dieting.
Yes, they are. I do not refuse. But you see, that's their docket. If somebody decides their way of losing weight will be by not eating, let them do that. But if they want to get my professional opinion on that, I would not go that way. All right? I would probably look at ways of reducing the calories, the overall energy intake for somebody.
Okay.
However, whichever way we achieve that based on what works for the client. Okay. But I will not be, yo-yo dieting with them.
Yeah.
I will not be part of that. Right? And then what he says about BMI.
Yeah.
So maybe I can quickly run through the cutoff points. So 18.5 to 24.9, we consider that normal BMI. So that puts you in a normal weight. And I think that would still answer the question of the person who said he's 5'6"
Yes.
And has
64
got a weight of 64
kilos.
kilos.
Yeah.
I don't want to say yes, it is good, or no, it is bad. Of course, I know what the answer is,
yes.
but for the sake of the public, so that people don't go around thinking, my weight is 64, she said it was okay, or it was bad. So I will not touch that. But if they take that height in meters square, sorry, height in kilograms.
Yeah.
If they take their kgs, that 64 kilograms in kgs, and they divide it by their height in meters squared,
yes.
that would give them the BMI. So if they fall between 18.5 to 24.9, that's okay. All right? If they're between 25 to 29.9,
yeah.
we consider them overweight. If they are between 30 and 34,
right.
that is obese class 1. And above 34, now that is morbid obesity. All right? So that's excess weight that we need to take care of.
Yeah.
Right? So that's for the BMI. Then for the issue of autism,
yeah.
I'm sure she'd be able to tell us, like, what do they check for when it is autism, when they but this a parent who has already known that their child is autistic.
You're right.
All right. And what I would advise them, because it says the child is 20 years, so actually that's now an adult. All right. Do they have a way of ensuring that that which will activate hyperactivity in this person has been taken away? So that you're not the same person who has got an autistic person or child in the house, and you're providing them with, you know, flavored food, flavored milk and sugary drinks, you know, colored things, because those things affect their output as an autistic person. And if they're eating, probably we want more vegetables available in the house, so that if you're overeating on vegetables, for example, you'll need so many bucketfuls to be able to achieve that caloric intake that would make you overweight, as opposed to having a lot of sweet things, cakes and sugar. And sodas and chips. That would definitely give them a high weight.
Fiona, why don't you add on to that point, you know, that she said that you probably have something that you can add on to that. Yeah.
Okay. We test full body count. That consists of the hemoglobin, the red blood cells, white blood cells. It's a full check for all the cells. It measures different diseases, from infection to leukemia to all the tests. We look at the ranges. If the ranges are normal or ideal, like for hemoglobin, for ladies and male, they're different. When the hemoglobin level is between 12 to 16, that's ideal. If it's above, then the person is ill or has some underlying diseases. It's a general test, a whole body test.
Okay. All right, let's take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Remember, we're actually talking about achieving your ideal weight and maintaining a healthy lifestyle today on health and wellness. We'll be back, of course, with more of your questions and your concerns. Please send them in so that Betty and Fiona can address them. Stick with us.